Victor Marx has announced his campaign for governor.
The latest Republican in the 2026 race for Colorado governor is a ministry leader from Colorado Springs. Victor Marx is promising to, quote, challenge the godless ideology that has eroded Denver's institutions and allowed corruption and cultural decay to spread.
And as for all political candidates, the message stands true. Be prepared for anything and everything to come to the forefront.
And all my parents are like brainwashed into thinking that this is a good thing when really I was sold to Victor Marx, literally. I was sold. They got money out of this.
Today, one of Victor Marx's accusers is coming forth with her story, a story that dives deep into the question, is the dangerous gentleman using his force for good or for evil, to help or to simply exploit his rescue?
We get to the border, and they proceed to buy a bunch of tourist souvenirs to make it look like, you know, that they're just traveling, right?
When you listen to this interview, I want you to ask the question, did Victor Marx act prudently? If you know someone in danger, would you take it upon yourself or first call the local authorities? In today's world of social media and nonprofit outreach and funding, when does exploiting a victim's rescue for donations instead further victimize those you're trying to help? Today, you'll hear an interview with Holly, who says she is a victim and survivor. Her account reflects her personal allegations and recollection. These claims may be disputed. We are not presenting this interview as a determination of guilt. Anyone referenced is presumed innocent unless and until proven guilty in a court of law. We hope that by bringing this story forward, that those of you listening will reflect on the story and ask the tough questions. Questions that should be answered when the weight of the state of Colorado may be laid on the shoulders of the accused here in this video.
So you live in Canada at the time.
Mm-hmm.
You still live in Canada now. And Victor Marx flew out to Canada to retrieve you and bring you to the United States.
Right. So I'll get into that. So do you guys want the beginning on how I got there?
Yeah.
All right. So I was going through some stuff, some mental health issues that had nothing to do with anything else, had nothing to do with my partner, that they claim that he's a groomer or anything like that. But it happened for a different reason. But I got home, or I was at my dad's, and then I went back to our place where we lived, and Anastasia, she knew Victor. She knew Victor pretty well, and she was a neighbor of mine. She runs a spa or whatever, like right beside our apartment, and I told her some stuff, you know, she's like wondering what happened, and then obviously Les told her what happened. You know, obviously her trying to get close and information and knowing the person she was at the time, I did not know. So he told her that, and then I came home. She just started getting really close for no reason. Like, she would get awfully friendly. She would offer me courses for her business or whatever. And then it started to get weird because she started talking to my mother about everything. And obviously my mom has something against Les. I'm not gonna get into why, but she did. And then she's always used that against me. So she wanted to obviously hurt me or try and do something like she always does. But anyway, this isn't about that. But so I was like, you're talking to my mom? Like, I'm so confused. Like, why are you talking to my mother? Like, you're getting all in my business. You're just my neighbor. Like, and she's like, no, I really care about you. And she's like, I just want to talk. And it's like, okay, all right. I didn't really, my sister and everybody else was doing their own things. So it's just like, well, you know what? It'd be nice to talk to someone other than my partner, you know? So I gave in. I I talked to her, but I didn't talk to her about Les. She brought up Les. She brought up that I'm not in a good situation. She made up all these assumptions that I'm not safe. I'm not safe. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing that. And like, I was fine. I wasn't fine mentally because I was on highly seduced medication from the hospital I was at. And that's olanzapine. That's an antipsychotic med. That's a highly induced like med that like I wasn't thinking straight. Like I wasn't in a good mental state yet where I could make decisions by myself. So they decide to take me for a drive and tell me all these lies that has been going on with me away and all this stuff, and saying that he is a groomer and that he is a pedophile, and that's not the case. That's not the case at all. I was like, it was all consensual. Like, I don't get where people are coming up with this, that he groomed me and all this stuff when I was 15. No, he didn't. Okay, I was a kid. That never happened.
So, Holly, I don't want to cut you off. I just want to be clear. So, your next door neighbor had concerns about your relationship with your boyfriend, who's still your boyfriend today, and got involved, got your mother involved, claiming that your boyfriend was a pedophile and a groomer, but you did not get into a relationship with him before the age of 18, correct?
That is true, but I was over the age of consent.
Okay. And you're still in a consensual relationship.
That's right. Yes.
And so they took you for a drive to try to dissuade you from dating this man.
Yeah, trying to get in my business and trying to make decisions for me and try and manipulate me.
Okay, and then what happened next?
So I said it's not true, you know, like he's always been there for me and stuff. Like I love him. Like seriously, like there's like I don't get where people are getting this from. And then I tell Les about it, and he's like, don't ever like, you know why, like I know why they did this. It's because Les like she gave all these facial procedures to him, right? Like to get all of them done, and she's like, yes, I'll do it for free. And then she's like, you owe us this much money, and then they're trying to use it against us, right? Like this is a money grab. This is all a money grab.
So Les gets all these facial procedures at the spa that your next door neighbor owns.
Right.
And she said she would do it for free. And then after he was done, she tried to come after him for money.
That's right.
And when he refused to pay her, she started this process of trying to dissuade you from dating him and created these lies about his character.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 100% right.
Okay.
And he told them to not come to his house, and she always said that she was like part of the mafia and all this and that she has connections, and very, very strange people. I'll tell you that.
Is she still your next door neighbor?
No, she is not. I want nothing to do with any of these people.
Okay, so at this point, you didn't know who Victor Marx was?
No, I didn't. Not until she persuaded me to leave. She said, I can get you some counseling. I know. Like, I can get you some counseling and stuff like this. And I was like, okay. You know, I didn't have any counseling near me, and she was in my area. So it was just like, okay, I guess so. And then she's like, okay, pack your stuff. And I was really confused about that. I was like, where the fuck am I going? Like, why can't I leave my stuff here? And she's like, because we're taking you away from him. And I was like, that's not what I agreed to. Like, it all comes down to this. It comes to manipulation, like massive manipulation, like to a mentally ill 18-year-old at the time, really. Like, it just makes no sense why they would do that. I still ask myself why. Like,
So she convinces you to get counseling.
yeah.
And then she says, pack your stuff.
Yeah,
You're leaving.
she's like, I can help you. And then I said, okay. Like, all I agreed to was counseling. That's all I agreed to. I did not agree with anything else. But
so what happens next?
So I got to her place. She proceeds to manipulate me into saying yes to smashing my phone. Because she said it was apparently rigged by Les. Like, they completely, like, they turned the whole story around. This isn't about anyone. This is about my mental health. This is about me getting counseling. Like, and it had nothing to do with that, but they did that. And I said, I want to leave. I said I wanted to leave her house. I don't want to be here. And she's like, well, you have no choice, basically. She didn't say that, but you could tell that she's like, well, we're trying to help you. And then she's like trying to guilt trip me into saying like all this. She's like, I'm trying to help you. Like, this chick is weird. And then she pulls up Victor, who I don't even know. And she's like, this is the only man that can help you at this point. I was like, who is this? Like, what do you mean? I want to leave. I kept saying I want to leave. They would not take me back. I could not call the police. They had me in their custody, basically.
Were you still in their house at that time?
I was. That was when I first left. I was at their place until they contacted Victor, and they proceeded to tell him that I was a victim of trafficking, which made no sense because I wasn't trafficked. I was in the mental hospital for a month. And this had nothing to do with Les. This had nothing to do with anyone but, and they like to claim that I was a frequent, I wouldn't say frequent. I was a pothead, 100%. But that was not because of Les. And they like to claim in their videos that he was the one who got me into pot. That is not true. Like,
yeah, that's and even if you smoked a pound of pot a day, that's like not a reason to take somebody across the border.
exactly. And
This is when they took your ID away.
no, I'll get
Okay,
into
sorry.
that. So, yeah, they claim that like all his videos that like, oh, he turned her into a pothead. I was highly addicted, and that's what got me into the psychosis, okay? I was in a highly deep psychosis from smoking too much weed, and my mental state wasn't great either. And, family problems, all of that, my brain shut down. Like, and, I don't blame anyone but myself for that, for smoking that much pot, because like, people are gonna live, whatever. I was young, but that happened, and then I agreed because I was This is back to at their house where they get me to talk before they get me to talk to Victor. She's like, this is the only man that can help you, and they manipulate me to the point where I just say, F it, whatever, okay? You're not gonna let me go. I have no choice right now, basically. I'm scared to because I trust too many people. I was young, I was naive, I was not thinking straight, obviously. I wanted help, like, for my mental health, not for anything else, but they turn it around. use it against me. And this is, he got me to make a video about like just everything, like, you know, just the way I was feeling, and he turned it around, and then he changed the story to that I was manipulated, I was groomed, we need to help this girl. So yeah, so I didn't think he'd post it everywhere, but he did, and he posted way more than that, which I did not agree to. And then yeah, next day I was on the way to Kelowna with all my stuff, and I was like, I did not agree to this. I was manipulated to the point where I had to say yes. It was not my anything anymore.
Okay, so they drive you to Kelowna.
And that's when I first meet them. That's when I first meet Victor and Eileen Marx, is in Kelowna, where they drop me off. And I'm confused as I'm like, what the like, but I really have no say in this. So I'm just praying that these people are good people. They're gonna get the help I need with, you know, my childhood and everything, and like just stuff like that. That's what I needed help with. I needed counseling. And that wasn't counseling at all, but they dropped me off, and then we're in the car on the road to the border. So we get to the border. I forget what border it is, but it's a border in BC. But they get there. They take my ID right off the bat. Okay? They take it right from me. They take my ID. And I didn't think anything of that either. I was naive, like seriously. So naive. And so they took that, and the only thing I could bring with me was my pet that I had with me, and a bag. That's it. That's all I had. And then all my stuff was shipped elsewhere. And it's like, I did not agree to this at all. What am I getting into? Like, what are these people gonna do? I'm just like, I'm so confused. And all my parents are like brainwashed into thinking that this is a good thing, when really I was sold to Victor Marx. Literally, I was sold. They got money out of this. They got tons of money out of this. Anastasia Cash and her boyfriend and her husband did.
Do you know how much money they received?
$25,000, I believe.
$25,000 to the people that delivered you
Yes.
to Victor Marx.
That's right.
From Victor
Yeah.
Marx.
Yeah.
And did your parents receive money off this as well?
My dad did. Yeah.
Do you know how much he received?
I don't know how much he received. I'm not really buying that he had money saved and all this because, you know, I didn't grow up with a silver spoon, you know? My dad was on disability. He had somewhat PTSD from being a radio person in the military. I know, crazy, right? But yeah, it wasn't great growing up. You know, we had to go to food banks. I'd be straight up. We had to go to food banks. You know, we were struggling. And then suddenly, just out of the blue, he gets money. He gets 2 houses, 2 properties in Ocean Falls, right? Like, where the f is the money coming from? I know where it came from. He admitted it. He admitted he got ferry money to go over there from Victor Marx, which I'm not buying. He has quads. He has all this. Yeah, where do you get the money? Seriously, it's not adding up.
At what
So,
point?
yeah, I believe my dad was involved.
At what point did you figure out you were going to the United States? Was it while you were on the road to Kelowna? Was it when you finally hit the border?
They told me before that we're going to the United States in Colorado. But they didn't tell me after I knew, like, before I knew about the counseling, before I knew about anything. They told me after, and I was like, I did not agree to that. I am Canadian. There's no reason for me to go to America. Like, really no reason. And then we get to the border, and they proceed to buy a bunch of tourist souvenirs to make it look like, that they're just traveling, right? Red flag. Why the fuck are you doing that? Why can't you just say this? Why can't you just say what the fuck you were gonna do? Then to fake it and be like, oh, we're gonna buy souvenirs, we're gonna think that we're just traveling. Yeah, with a girl, they definitely took that as sketchy as anyone would. And then the people at the border are just like, what is going on? This is not normal. And they're catching up. They're catching up to what is really happening. But they proceed to get me to go over the counter and explain what's going on, to explain that I am a victim, that to stay away from this man. What the has my partner done to Victor Marx to deserve this? Anastasia Cash, that tell you. That is who. That is who set this all up, who sold me to him in the first place. And he didn't deserve any of this. We lost our house. He lost his job. He lost his life insurance.
So you come across the border.
Right.
Probably into like Washington, right?
So we're still there. And someone just happens to know Victor Marx. He's like, oh my God, you're Victor Marx, right? And it's like, you know what? I'm going to say this before. I said it again. I don't know a single person in Canada that knows who Victor Marx is. Like, who are you? So I feel like he was paid off. There's another one paid off. Another one set up. And then the other chick that took us over, that drove us over the border through Washington, was a setup as well. I believe everything was a setup.
And she was paid as well.
I believe so. I don't know for a fact, but I think so. So we get there, and then she drops us off at a hotel, where we stay at for the night. And then we catch a flight in the morning to Colorado, and then we go there. We're driving there. It's the next day. Nothing out of the ordinary. They're just like, you're so courageous. All this right? Why are you doing this? You're obviously doing this for the money. You're obviously, like, way too nice to even, like, they're just, like, they were nice, but you could tell it was fake. But I didn't know at the time because, again, I thought these people weren't who they were, but they are. So they're just saying, you're so brave. And I was like, I'm confused as because I did not say that I'm a victim. You guys made me say it. Because, honestly, like, the aura of that man alone is just something out of a horror movie, where he's so passive aggressive that you don't know when he's gonna snap, and you don't know. You really, like, I can't even explain his aura, his energy. It's just negative. It's very negative, and it's evil.
It is.
His wife combined. His wife is just his handler, like uncanny valley type. And then we get to the airport where we're going to Colorado, and I just don't say anything to them. Like, I'm shocked. I'm in shock, literally. I'm in shock the whole time. I don't know what to think. And they're telling me all this. So we get to the private jet, and we go there, and I'm still thinking, like, what the fuck are these people up to? Seriously. Like, at that point, when I was on the jet, I felt like I was in danger, low-key. And I absolutely was. But, of course, my dad's getting paid off. My mom had nothing to do with it, but, she had a part to do with it, because she gave Anastasia the information about me, and all this. She knew I was gullible. She knew that I was not in a good mental state, really. Seriously. Like, she knew all this about me from my mother, from my own family. Like, I can't tell you how lonely that felt. to know that my dad got money out of this, that my life in jeopardy meant nothing. So we get there, and then his daughter's waiting to pick us up, whatever, Gabby. So we get there, nothing out of the ordinary yet. They're just like, you're gonna love it, or whatever. And I was like, okay, like, I didn't agree to this, but, you guys manipulated me to the point where I had no choice to. So, we get there, I meet everyone, everyone's just fake as They're just like, oh, hi, Holly, like, all this stuff, and it's like, why the do people even care? Like, why do you care so much to bring me across the border? Another red flag, like, seriously, like, there's no point. I never agreed to go across Colorado until you said at the last minute. And, so we get there, and they get me to go see the bungalow that they have in the back of their yard. That's where I stayed. The majority. So, and then they proceed to, I don't know, buy me stuff, like all this like buy me new clothes that I didn't ask for, and doing all these favors, and it's just like, and then they just proceed to make random videos of me, and to make it look like they're doing something good, when really I don't need to be here. I even said that. I was like, why do I need to be in Colorado? I said that multiple times. Was ignored. And days passed, and then I'm just like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, I'm still confused as I don't even get an answer why. They're just like, we're helping you. And then I proceed to be like, no, I need to talk to someone to get me out. Seriously. And I couldn't even like have limited access to the internet because these people would be up my ass. They would be watching me 24/7, what I said, what I did, who I talked to. I couldn't talk to anyone, especially Les, because they just had something against them because Anastasia ran her mouth. And everyone just thinks the worst of him, and that is not true. That is not the case. And I'm here to say it for everyone to hear, that he is not a trafficker. He is not a groomer. He's not any of this. This man has been here for me than most of anyone in my family ever has. Why the would I run away from him? It makes no sense. So I start talking to my mom, and my dad are just brainwashed, right? They're just like, oh, you're good, honey. You're good. You're going to be fine. And then my sister's just doing her own thing, right? Like, whatever. And then I talked to my uncle Phil, because he's worried. He's like, are you okay? Like, he's wondering if I'm okay. Like, most of my family members are confused as why I'm in Colorado. And then it switches to Victor, or like he said something about Victor that Victor did not like. He said that I hope you're safe, or I can't remember what he said, but I know he said something that Victor didn't like. And then Victor just snatches the computer away from me. And then he proceeds to call my childhood uncle a pedophile, and saying that he's gonna come and kill him and Les combined. And it's like, holy dude. My uncle was just there to make sure I was okay, safe. And he just proceeds to call everybody a pedophile and all this and yeah, he's yelled at my dad. Yeah, he's yelled at those two family members for no reason. Like, this dude snaps out of nowhere, and you can see it on his face when he's about to. He trembles, he Like, it's weird. He's schizophrenic. And they believed to think that I was schizophrenic because I was on my meds. That did nothing for me but make me drowsy and not be able to think for myself or dissociate. That's what those meds did to me. And I stopped taking them. And that's when I opened my eyes and be like, okay, I need to get myself out. I need to find a way how to get myself out. So that's what I did. I stopped taking olanzapine. I stopped taking my meds. And I really wanted to know what the is going on. But that happened. And then it just proceeded from there. I kept saying I wanted to go home. I didn't feel safe at all. At all. So they proceed to say that you have Stockholm syndrome and all this and trying to diagnose me with all these illnesses. And is that something that you say to someone that's been in the hospital? Like, I don't know what the I had. I didn't even know what the I had when I went to the hospital, and you're gonna tell me all this. Like, that's wrong. That is massive manipulation. That is mental abuse.
Yeah. Okay, so did he have did anybody diagnose you with these things in the United States, like as this was all happening, or were they just like, it was just Victor and Eileen saying this at this point?
It was just Victor and Eileen saying it, it was mostly Victor saying it. He's just like, you're really sick, like you have Stockholm syndrome, you have schizophrenia, you have all this and he doesn't even know me. Has he seen my records? No. Does he know me? No. He knows about me. He knows what Anastasia told him. That's it. And what my father and my family told him. But he still doesn't know me, and he never will.
So this entire time, you never saw a psychiatrist? I never saw
a psychiatrist once. No.
You never saw an actual counselor?
They got me to see a counselor, but months as I was there. They were just saying that they tried to push God down my throat and saying that the enemy wants me and all this. It was massive manipulation. It was mental abuse and lots of it. And I just didn't know what to think anymore. I was so done. I wanted to go home. I did not feel comfortable with these people. I felt homesick. I felt so alone. More alone than I've ever felt. And they just didn't care. They cared about money. They cared about exploiting me. They cared about videos and all this.
And you were living on his property where exactly on his property were you?
So, where his office is or whatever, right, I don't know, where you see his van, that's I was behind that, and there's a bungalow that they had.
Okay.
So that's where I stayed.
What did this bungalow look like?
It was like a gray building with a black roof. It was one of those modern, I wouldn't say apartment, but it did look like a mini apartment or whatever.
Like a mother-in-law?
It was a gray building, I know that.
Was it did it have air conditioning and heat?
Yeah, it did.
So it wasn't uncomfortable living arrangement?
No.
Okay.
No, it wasn't. It was just really modern and strange, but it wasn't gross or anything. It was sanitary and everything.
How long were you in Colorado total?
To the exact day, 3 months I was in Colorado. So I arrived July 21st and I got back October 21st. So.
And was he posting at the same time or telling people at the same time that you were rescued and you were in a safe house?
Yeah, he did.
Okay.
He said that, and then he said that I was rescued and all this. He took videos right from the moment that I was in their custody, being restored and all this. And so they catch on. They know that I'm not manipulated anymore. They know I'm not taking my meds. So they're like, so you can either get an MRI scan in Las Vegas. I was like, why the would you take me to Las Vegas? Seriously, he's like, you can either go to get an MRI in Las Vegas, or you can go to my stepsister's ranch in, sister-in-law's house, Becca, at her ranch. And I was like, I guess I'll pick the ranch. Like, what the is this? Am I playing Monopoly with my own life? Anyway. So, they get me to go there. And she's like, she's really good, like, she's gonna get the counseling. And I was like, I don't even give a anymore. You people are weird. You're not taking me to counseling. You're not taking me to anywhere. You're getting money off me, like, by just making videos, fake videos of me being a victimized girl. Had nothing to do with any of that. I was in the mental hospital. You took a mentally ill at the time person that was 18 years old, that was an adult, but didn't act like one. But yeah.
What
So that
year was
happened.
this?
2023.
And do you know, has he since removed all these videos from social media?
No, he has not.
They're all still there.
Is it on?
They're all on his Instagram, his Facebook. I'm not sure. I don't.
Have you downloaded all of these, Darcy?
I have.
He also sent those videos to the El Paso Sheriff's Department.
And what has the sheriff's department done?
So, everything. Big props to them, man. So basically, he explained that I was taken. Literally taken. And he was worried for my safety, and he should have been, and he was 100%. I shouldn't say should have been. He was worried for my safety. He wanted to know I was safe. So he called the El Paso Sheriff's Department, and he explained what Victor Marx did and what he's doing. And the El Paso sheriff, he said, we are putting out a missing persons notice everywhere. So when anyone sees my name, it is a missing person that you
and it goes all 911.
And it goes to all 911s.
Self called 911. They know who you were.
Yeah.
Did they
so
actually put that out?
Yes, they did.
they did.
I didn't know that.
wasn't. Yeah, no, it wasn't for the general public to see.
Okay.
It was if Holly had access to a phone or some way to call 911. As soon as she said her name, bing, her picture, everything would come up.
Yeah.
And it was Deputy Falhurst. He was fantastic. Like, he set this all in motion. Once I got the right people to talk with, right? And then of course when I called Houston, Harris County Sheriff's Department, I said Holly's name and it was up. It came right up on the dispatch. So they knew who I was talking about. And again, after they got a hold of Holly, how Victor was able to gain access to Holly at all, let alone back in his possession, I don't understand that. Especially after she was sent to the psychiatric hospital in Houston, whichever one that was, I can't remember. When she was released, Becca picked her up and drove her to Dallas, handed her off, right back to Colorado, and then home again. So that's what I might have got myself in trouble with the video I sent you, insinuating that the investigators were involved, but maybe they were, because trafficking involves people you wouldn't even suspect. And then
Yes.
again, I'm so confused as to how, when all of this through El Paso was relayed, they gained access to Holly, had her by herself, and then bang, done. She's back with Victor.
Wait,
I just
so
don't understand it.
so El Paso County sheriffs at one point had you from Victor. Like you got out, you were with the El Paso County sheriffs, and then they handed you back to Victor Marx.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the El Paso. It was the Harris County Sheriff's Department in Houston, who had access had her in their care at the hospital, like at the general hospital. And then they transferred her from there to the
To the mental
hospital.
Yeah. And then I was there for 3 days, I believe. And then Victor Marx was all up in my my call logs and who I could talk to and all this stuff. I only had my dad's number, and if I lost that, I'd probably be stuck there, honestly. But he said, and I quote, he said, if I know you call less, then I will know. And to me, that sounded like a threat. Like, what the do you mean I know? Like, what are you gonna do if you did know? Seriously. People are dangerous.
So you're in a mental hospital in Harris County. And then what happens after that?
It wasn't Harris County. I was in the hospital, and then they transferred me to a mental hospital because do you want me to get into that before how I got to the mental hospital?
Go back from El Paso all the way to Houston.
Okay.
Like, how'd you get from Colorado Springs to Houston?
Right. So Anastasia, I'm at Becca's house, right? And then Anastasia calls, and then she proceeds to say, Holly, you can't be saying that I'm a trafficker. You can't be saying that I trafficked you or that I did this, I did that. And obviously, they're right in front of me. I cannot say anything. And the police, Shannon, or not, what was that officer's name in Merritt?
Oh, Shaughnessy.
Constable
Shaughnessy.
Constable Shaughnessy was on the call also.
He's going to get what he's going to get.
And I believe she paid him off to keep quiet. And I couldn't say anything. I couldn't say the real reason why I'm saying all this. I wanted to get out. I needed help. And I didn't get it because they were everywhere around me. I was never alone with these people. It was either someone working for them or something like that. But Becca was right on the couch right beside me when I was saying it. And I had to say no because she looked at me with a death stare. And I had to say no, you're not. And then that was a call.
So you're in Colorado Springs and they decide to move you to Texas.
That's right.
And that's about what, a month in, couple weeks in?
I'd say about a month in.
Okay, so a month in, they take you down to Texas. And at this point, there's still a missing person alert for you.
Yes.
And when you get to Texas, how does the police pick you up there?
So the police, when did you get the police involved?
Oh, I got them. It was Labor Day weekend.
That's right. Yeah.
And then because you were in Texas then.
That's right. Yeah. Okay.
Colorado. And then you went back to Texas.
Yeah.
So
it was back and forth. It was Texas and Colorado. They would go like back and forth for no reason. And then.
And were you being flown back and forth?
We flown once. That was the first time. And then the second time we drove back to Colorado from Texas. So that's like a day. That's like long.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
it's not gonna be long enough.
It's probably about 14, 15 hours.
I wonder if they drove back because if they put Holly's name on the passenger list that it would come up as missing persons.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
So you don't get picked up by the police in Texas the first time you're in Texas. It's the second time you're in Texas.
No, I don't. So as the call hung up and stuff like that, I had to say yes, whatever, because she was right in front of me. They got me to go to a sheriff's department in Dallas to say a statement or whatever.
So Victor drove you to the sheriff's office to essentially...
No, Becca did. They
Okay.
did. They drove me to a sheriff's office in Dallas.
So that you could say that you weren't a
And
missing person.
that's right. Yeah.
Wow.
And they were right in front of me. I forgot about this. I completely forgot about this. It's clicking now. I try and forget about this so much. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not lying. I'm traumatized as And you know what? Maybe I am a victim because what they did to me is
I
not something
get it.
any person should have to go through. Mental abuse is just, it's worse than anything. Manipulating me, taking me all these places. I feel like I'm getting torn apart. But they get me to go there where I tell them what's going on and everything. I can't even say what I need to say because she's right in front of me. She's in the office as I'm talking to this officer that can help me. These people, I can't even say what I need to say because she's right there watching everything. And she did. And she was hired by Victor.
Can we go back
his
to...
own sister-in-law.
So Becca was his sister-in-law?
That's right.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to ask, was who was Becca? So you're in... So this is the second time you're in Texas. You get brought to the police station to essentially say that you're not a missing person. And then from there, they put you into the mental hospital?
No. So we get back, and I'm freaking out. I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to get I'm trying to find ways to find someone, to contact someone for help to get out, to leave. So what I do is they went grocery shopping one day. So, I take her tablet, right? I didn't take it. I used it to get help, but she claims I stole it. I didn't steal it. I took it to text someone to get help. To say, I need to get out of here. I said that multiple times. They did not believe me because these people pretended to be me on social media. So people didn't know if it was me or if it was somebody else talking. And they could tell how I text because words I didn't use in my vocabulary were used in those texts. So they were pretending to be me on social media for months.
So
I had no contact with anyone for months.
So Victor continued to operate your social media accounts or fake social media accounts to make you appear like you were okay?
Yeah.
Are those accounts still out
there? I had no
there?
contact with anyone. After I called Les, it was nope. She's catching on. She's not able to talk to anyone. I can talk to my mom, can talk to any of my family members, nothing. No contact with anyone.
Do you know if those social media accounts still exist?
On my old account, I believe all the messages are deleted. When I opened it, when I got back, I deleted everything, unfortunately.
Okay.
Because I didn't want any memory of that. I couldn't even go into a Walmart when I got back without crying, saying if I'm safe. I had to buy a pepper spray that I'm not allowed in Canada in order to have some safe whatever, because I won't trust anyone. I have massive trust issues after this.
Okay, so they take you from Colorado to Texas, then they bring you back to Colorado, they bring you back to Texas, you're brought into the police station, you say that, no, I'm not a missing person. Then they take you back to Colorado, and then there's a third time that you go to Texas where they put you in the mental hospital?
That's right. Yeah, so no. It was second time. It was the second time I was there. It was where I'm getting to the tablet and everything. So she got mad about that. She's like, don't go through my whatever. And then I kept finding ways to get out. So it got to the point where I used her TV that was in the bedroom where I was staying at in her ranch, her house in Texas. And I downloaded the Messenger app and I contacted Les to say, get me out. I said, get me out of here. Capital letters. Get me out of here. And then he said, Holly, is this you? He didn't know if it was me or not. Because these people kept pretending to be me on social media, so people didn't know if it was me or not. And so I said, get me out of here, and then the TV just goes black. She turns it off. I don't know how she turned it off, but the TV goes black. I hear her footsteps coming upstairs, and then I'm blocking the door because I don't know what the she's gonna do. I don't trust these people. And then she said, let me in right now. I said, no. And then she tries to open the door. I opened the door. I thought she was gonna swing at me, but she didn't. She says, were you on the TV? Like, she's swearing at me. And I said, yeah, I did. And then she said, why? So I said, why? And then she loses it. I lose it. And I said, I want to go home. And she's like, okay, I'll take you home. You're going home, right? So she packs up my stuff, or I pack up my stuff. She drops me to a random airport in Dallas without no ID. They still have my ID. Victor gave me her ID. Or my ID. Victor gave Becca my ID. So, and this was in Houston. So she drops me off at this airport with none of my paperwork, none of my ID. These people don't know who I am. I'm in Dallas, Texas. I'm a Canadian woman. Houston, sorry. I'm in Houston, Texas. And I have no idea. I have no ID. And these people can't get me a flight because one, you have to pay for it. And I didn't think that at the time. I just thought she was going to let me go. Just thought these people were going to let me go. And I was wrong. So I was at the airport that she just left me at in Houston, Texas, with no way to get back. So she could have stranded me, and I don't know what would have happened to me. I probably wouldn't be here, to be honest, to be talking. So I call her because I still had her number, and I'm like losing it in the airport. I'm crying hysterically. I'm just like, why? Why is this happening to me right now? Like, I was just freaking the out. So I call her, and I said, why the would you leave me here with no ID, right? And she's just like, she's like, you wanted to go home? I said, how the am I gonna get home with nothing? And then she's like, are you gonna play by my rules? And I said, okay, fine. And then she's like, you're gonna play by my rules now. And then she went to go get me. So my nerves are shot. My ears are ringing non-stop. I feel like I'm gonna have a panic attack and die. So she picks me up with her boyfriend. I don't know his name. I know he was a landscaper for Victor. David, maybe? Yeah, David. I think his name is David. Anyway, he was dating Becca, or going out with her, whatever. And then they're in the car, and I believe someone else was in the car. I believe his son was in the car. Noah? I don't know. I'm not getting anyone else involved, but I don't know. I know someone else was in the car. But anyway, I said, can I have my ID, please? And then her boyfriend just says, you don't have the nerve to speak. You don't get to speak right now. And I'm just like, what the And then they blame it on me. They blame what happened on me. About leaving me at the airport on me. When you're the one who stranded me. And that happened. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna shut up. I don't know if I'm gonna die tonight. I don't know what the these people are gonna do. I do not feel safe at all. So, so I stayed quiet. And then, we go to her house, and I said, and then, yeah, she's like, you're not staying at my house. You're mentally ill, all this right? And I'm not. I'm scared to death, you stupid. I didn't say that because I'd be dead. But they drove me to the hospital. This is where they take me to the hospital because my nerves are shot and all this. I don't think it was a health reason. I just think she wanted me out of her house, and I wanted nothing to do or be near her. And I'm still crying, and you know they're just saying, "Why are you crying?" And all this, like just completely putting me down for no reason. And then I said, I don't want to be stuck here forever. And he's like, who wouldn't want to live here? Like, what the you mean by that? I am not American. I don't want to be American. No offense. But I don't want to, like, what the are you talking about? And then they say goodbye or whatever for the night. And then, or they do, or David does, whatever. And then I enter the main hospital, and then I get put in a hospital bed, and then Becca just decides to take the nurse because the nurse is like, who is she? What's going on? Obviously wondering what's going on. So she takes the nurse and puts her in the other room to go talk to her. I don't know what the she said, but I'm freaking out. And now this lady, the same nurse that she talked to, comes back with a needle and injects, and she's like, you're gonna go to sleep now, okay? Like, she literally puts me to sleep. She puts me to sleep with a med, and this could have gone horribly wrong. Like, they could have done so much worse, but this is worse. This is, what the are you doing? I did not agree to this. She sticks me with a needle, puts me to sleep, and puts me in another room for me to calm down and sleep. So she does that. I before I could even say anything, my vision goes blurry because they injected me with like a sleeping medication or whatever. I don't see Becca. She leaves, and then the next morning I'm in another room at the hospital still, and I'm thanking God for that. I was like, oh my God, like, and then I'm like, what the is going on? I want to talk to the embassy right now, the embassy to get me home. And I didn't stop until they got the embassy, until they got someone that can help me. And I mean, help me. And I believe I was part of me coming back because I did not stop until the very end, but I give full creds to Les and my uncle and his brother Larry and everybody else that helped me get me home, seriously, or else I would not be here talking.
You called me from that hospital.
I did, yeah.
And then I had you on three-way, not three-way, but I had you on pause.
Yeah.
I called
Sorry.
Deputy Peak.
Cloud.
I called Deputy Peak because Holly had called me from the hospital that morning.
Mm-hmm.
So I put her on pause, called Deputy Peak, explained what was going on to her because Deputy Falkhurst wasn't on duty that day. She got back to me and said that they don't have any record of Holly there. So I did some more digging, thinking that, okay, well, maybe Rebecca signed her in under Rebecca's name. Then I called Deputy Peak back again and said that Holly is here. She's on the phone with me. She hung up. She put me on hold, went to her sergeant. They made the call to Harris County Sheriffs. Harris County Sheriffs came, picked her up. That's when I got another call from the sergeant in El Paso saying that Holly has been, she is in custody with the Harris County Sheriff's Department. And that was it. And that's the last time I heard Holly's voice until she got home. So, and then again, I didn't know what was going on, how Holly was in Victor's possession again, but I guess she explained that they went to Dallas and she was forced to say she wasn't missing.
Yeah. Scary.
No, that is just outlandish to me. So that's why I asked.
But so getting to the part where I'm talking to the embassy, who can actually like help get me home. And I believe these people because she showed me her badge and everything. I believe her name was Sonia. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't get in contact with them after I got home because this is really hard to talk about, but I'm gonna talk about it and I'm gonna get answers. And I deserve whatever the happens to these people because these people, I don't want this happening to somebody else, and it already has, and people are too afraid to come forward. And I know that. And I don't know that, but like I feel it. I feel that like it's gonna happen to somebody else. And but she said we're gonna get you to the embassy. I said I want to get out of here. I said I'm Canadian to this woman. And then she said, we're gonna get you your passport. We're gonna get you a temporary passport and everything. And then she said, these people aren't who they say they are. That's what she said. She said, we've looked into it. And she said, these people are not good people. And they're not who they say they are. So that was hope for me that they were actually going to try, like they were going to get me home. So that was a big was getting my passport and all this information that Becca still had, my ID and everything I did not have on me still. And then I was still so like shooken. And then they just decide to put me into another mental hospital. The one that I'm talking about, like this is the one that they put me in. I don't know what the hospital was called. But I know it was in Houston, Texas. So they put me in there and I had no knowledge of it until they told me that the one who put me in there, I did not think it was my father, but he put me in there. He put me in the mental hospital for no reason. And that's where I stayed. That's where I had all the numbers. And that's where I wasn't going insane, but I was just like, are these people just gonna leave me here? Are they gonna abandon me again? Are they gonna but they didn't. Because they knew that everything was coming together. They knew that they couldn't do this anymore. And I think that's why I got home. Not because of them, but because they got caught. They all got caught doing what they're doing. And people were catching up to it. And I was making my say like known, you know what I mean? My voice being heard instead of people talking for me. And I believe that's why they got me home, not because of anything else. It's because they got caught. And but getting to that, when I get to the hospital, the people there, they said they had to cavity search me. So they get me to strip without like I couldn't even say no to it, or else I wouldn't even be allowed in. They get me to strip full on, like, everything out, and they're just like, I'm just so violated. I'm violated to the point where violation isn't enough anymore. Like, what the I've never been in a hospital. Like, when I got to the other hospital I was in, they never did that. But I also didn't know, like, I saw a bright light and then they gave me meds and that's all I knew until a couple days until I had consciousness again. Like it was my first time in the mental hospital. But I'm not going to get into that. But these people got me to strip and do a cavity search that I didn't agree to, or else I wouldn't be allowed into the hospital, which they probably still have those pictures. I felt violated, and I get in, and there's this, it's just the most depressing these people, like, there was autistic people in there, there was people that didn't even need to be in there that were in there because they had nowhere else to go. And it's sad. It was really sad to see because the staff was they treated people like garbage. I couldn't even shower for 3 days because they had no hot water, no nothing. Nothing. They had nothing. But they did feed the people and like whatever, but like what the do better. But you know, I wasn't in there and I was determined to get out. I didn't care. If I had to break out.
This was not Memorial Hermann. This was the second hospital.
That's right. This is the mental hospital they put me in.
So the first mental hospital Becca put you in, the second mental hospital you're claiming your father put you in.
There wasn't a second mental hospital. The first one I went to was before all of this.
Okay,
that's the one I'm talking about.
Memorial Hermann?
But Memorial Hermann Hospital, that was the hospital that was an actual hospital. The one mental hospital they put me in was after I went to the hospital.
And the first hospital is the one that they knocked you out at.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, they didn't knock you out in the second hospital.
No, they did not.
But this is the embassy comes between these two hospitals, correct?
They come in the room where I'm staying at as I wake up. This woman does.
And then she allows them to transport you to a mental hospital?
She didn't. No, she was just talking to me to get all my information for my passport to get back into Canada to go home.
Okay, so then you get transferred to the mental hospital. And
Correct.
After the mental hospital stay, what happens?
So after the mental hospital stay, I call my dad to make sure, like, I call my dad like 5 times to make sure I'm going home. Like, I'm going home. People think I'm crazy, but, you know, like, after you go through so much trauma of being told this and being told that and not knowing what's real anymore, it gets to you. It really gets to you. So after the mental hospital, Becca and her boyfriend pick me up. The people at the mental hospital, they're just like, okay, this person's here to pick you up. So I go with them. I get there, they pick me up, and then they say they're going to take over and drive me to Dallas. And then they get all my stuff to go home, like my passport and all this stuff. They take me to the embassy themselves to get everything that I need to go home with, like, you know, that I need to get back into Canada. So they do that. But before they do that, we go to her friend's house because I need to shower, right? So I shower at their friend's place that they stop at, and then we're on the way to Dallas, which is where they get all the information, all my paperwork, all this stuff. I still don't have access to my ID myself. Like, I still don't have access to that. They have it still. So that happens. And then they get me to get my passport and everything, my temporary passport, and then they drive me to get my picture taken for my passport. So they do that. So after all that, they drive me, we're already in Dallas. They drive me like to another hotel. It's really complicated, but this all happened. But they drive me to another hotel. I have all my stuff with me, or whatever I can take, backpack, and then my suitcase. And it's like, wow, I'm really going home now. Like, it took 3 months to get me home. So they say goodbye because I'm never going to see them again, and I don't want to. So who takes over is one of their workers that works for All Things Possible Ministries is Lauren Norris. So she takes over to get me home. because Becca is just no part of this anymore, and I didn't want her to be. I wanted her to be out, like, off. So that happened. So they take me, and then we're just waiting on the okay for my passport and all this to come in, like, through, to, like, with my passport and, like, my picture and everything to make sure I'm good to go back into Canada. And then that takes a day, maybe 2. I don't know. It's been forever since I'm trying so hard to remember everything right now. But that happens. And then they take me to the airport. Lauren does. She gets on a plane to Denver with me. It's Dallas to Denver, and then it's Denver to Vancouver. So I took a plane to Denver with her, just so they could, like, see what gate I'm going to, but still keep tabs on me. So, so there's a bunch of turbulence. I'm kind of like, oh, like, I'm just gonna have a conversation with someone beside me. Why not? So I say, have you flown a lot before? Like, right? Like, he can obviously, I'm freaking out. So he says something. He's like, are you okay? And then I said, no, I don't like turbulence. I've never liked planes. So I said, have you flown ever before? Like, I'm just having casual conversation with someone beside me, right? And then after the plane lands, she goes to the person, Lauren does, she goes to the person I was talking to, and she says to the person, she's like, did she mention any guy? Did she mention anyone, like, coming off the plane? Or, like, whatever. She's like, did she mention anyone or going anywhere? He's like, no. And he's like, why? Is she a runaway or something? I overheard that. They were still keeping tabs on me as I was leaving, and they still are. So I didn't say anything. I'm just like, whatever, dude. I'm out of here. See you later. So we get to the other gate, which is, so it is, I'm in Denver now. And then it goes to Denver to Vancouver. So she gets me to my gate, and then I say goodbye or whatever. I want nothing to do with these people. And then she says, Victor and Eileen want to talk to you. We want to tell you something before you go. I just said, okay. So they just said, I hope you have a good life or whatever. I hope that whatever we did helped you in any way, and I hope that you have a good life and all this. And it's like, all right, buddy, like, just expose, like, just exploit the out of me, and then leave me with mental trauma that I have to take along with my life. And you say, am I happy? Am I happy what y'all did to me? No, I'm not. I want to get the out of here. I want to see my Canadian flag. I want to never leave US. I'd never want to see US again or see you guys again. So I'm like, okay, yeah, thank you. Like, whatever. So I say goodbye, whatever. I give her a fake hug because I want nothing to do with these people. Don't touch me. Don't even look at me. So I get onto the plane on Vancouver, and then I talk to the what is that? Flight attendant, and I say, is this Vancouver? Like, is this straight up Vancouver, BC? And she's like, yes, it is, yes. And there I was on a plane, and then I got to the airport in Vancouver, and that's that. I did. So at the very end, they still had tabs on me. Like, I was supposed to go to Ocean Falls originally with my father and stay there. Just completely them making decisions for me and trying to control my life and my decisions. And he's like, I just said, am I going home? Like when all this shit was happening, he says, yes, you're going home to your father in Ocean Falls. And then it's like, that's it. It's like, you don't get to make my life decisions. This is not your life here. This is mine, and I'm taking control of it. I'm done people pushing me around and making decisions for me. I'm a grown woman, and I've learned some in the
Yeah.
past, and I'm completely done with it. So I left as soon as I got back. And how they know I have a child or anything else that he said in his podcast is like, you're keeping tabs on me. I really don't give a fuck what you do. Stay the fuck out of my life. Stay the fuck out of my business. You're a trafficker, and people are gonna know. You're
Yeah.
a sociopath. You're a psychopath. You're everything in between. You just better admit it, or I will.
It'll all come out.
It'll all come out. There's so much about him. I just want people to know who he is and don't vote him for governor. Seriously. Do not.
Yeah. He's not. He's not gonna
It's
all
really
this.
not. He's gotten through so much, but he's not going to get through this. There's so much facts.
But I mean, is the reason why it was a private jet from Canada to the United States because you didn't have a passport at the time?
No, I didn't.
Jet was in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
The jet never came to Canada.
No, it came to
Okay,
Washington.
that's right. That's right. But they brought you over the border without a passport.
Yeah. Yep. Just my ID. Like, what is that?
Just a birth certificate, his tax card with no picture on it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They had a budget within, like, they had a budget for me. I don't know.
Spending
For spending, which
250 grand.
250 grand. And they were just pretending to be, like, good people, pretending to do all this. I lost everything I owned, by the way. Everything. Every clothing I had way before anything they took from me. I never got anything back. They were supposed to send my stuff to my dad's house. I never got one thing. Everything that I owned was gone. And I didn't get anything else at all. No. Yeah. I had to start all over.
So, and then when you got back, that was it, right? Like you didn't have any once you got back to Canada,
I had
there
no
was
contact.
no more contact with you. And, right.
My dad actually told them that I was gonna go back, and then someone, I don't know who he was talking to. I know he was talking to someone in the ministry, and they're just like, she's mentally ill. This trying to control my life, my decision making, and I just straight up snapped. I said I had enough. I broke his table. I said I'm not going with you. And then I left with nothing. I had my suitcase, my bag. I didn't even take that. Lost that too. I lost everything. I had to start all over. And I went to another hospital in my hometown, which is Port McNeill, Vancouver Island. So I went there. I stayed there because I didn't trust my dad even. You backstabbed me. You got money out of this And not to mention, he had a roommate that was staying in the apartment building that was from Mexico. Where the did he come from? Yeah. And he was all up in... Yeah, no, he was all up in my business too, so I believe that he was hired by Victor. These people are just crazy. Like
literally followed you around.
Literally followed me around, yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything else, like, is there anything that that seems glaringly important to you that you want to talk about? Jason texted me that for some reason he's lost his audio, but I've got audio. So I just want to, like, is there anything else we need to cover, or like anything, any way that you want to close it just to say, your piece to Victor Marx? Because I know you're not going to go. You're not the type of person that's going to be like out on 9 News tomorrow night.
No.
So, I mean, this is in a sense probably the best way, if you've got anything you want to say to him or say to people that might be watching this. Jason's show does get a lot of viewers once he edits down this video. It'll be really, really awesome. So, like, what do you want to leave people with on
I
this?
just want people to know who he is and don't trust everyone that you meet. Like, be aware of your surroundings, seriously. Like, there's people out there that will hurt you, that will do all of this, that will exploit you for money, that are traffickers. You are a trafficker. And I hope that you eventually admit what you did was wrong, but I know you never will. And I know you're going to make some video about me or anything else with your pathetic music. You look like a joke, and you are a joke. You literally are. You're the biggest piece of I've ever known. You and all your ministry buddies, you're done.
Yeah.
Count your days. And Anastasia and West Cash, count your days. You stupid. I'm sorry. I'll cut.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. Cosplay, but to me, they're like LARPing in costumes. It's ridiculous.
How like you have to play the victim just to know that you're you are
I know.
like that's
Yeah.
crazy. Calling me the same day I'm going on this radio podcast when I hear Victor's
It's insane.
voice and like I instantly just tremble. Well, you know what? I'm not I'm not being cut. This is
No.
uncut. This is raw. This is the true story. And I'm going to say what I'm going to need to say. And that's that. I appreciate that a lot, guys. Thank you for getting me a chance to tell my story. And I appreciate you both. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Thank you, Darcy.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
Merry
Christmas.
You and James, if you can hear us, Merry Christmas.
Jason, Merry Christmas.